Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Willis of the Literacy Party. I am currently an elementary literacy and media specialist in New Jersey. I received my undergraduate degree from Penn State University in kindergarten and elementary education. I went on to attain my master's as a literacy specialist from the Teachers College at Columbia University. I am formerly a classroom teacher. I've taught first, second, and third grade. I also served as a district literacy coach. As you can see, I am passionate about literacy instruction, especially in regards to the Readers and Writers Workshop model. I am also completely obsessed with children's literature, especially interactive read-alouds, because they give all students access to a shared text. Interactive read-alouds are basically my full-time job as I teach literacy through interactive read-alouds across multiple grade levels in the Media Center. I am excited to share my first YouTube professional development experience with all of you. Today, I will be teaching you about interactive read-alouds and how they are the glue to the Readers and Writers Workshop. Today's course will cover what interactive read-alouds are. You will watch me model an interactive read-aloud using the text mixed, the importance of interactive read-alouds and how to effectively and efficiently embed literacy and reading instruction into your read-alouds, how to make them interactive, how you can use them as a tool for formal and informal assessments. I will also share how to choose interactive read-alouds and also share some of my favorite texts for interactive read-alouds. Okay, so what are interactive read-alouds? The name pretty much says it all. They are an interactive, engaging, and multi-sensory read-aloud embedded with the modeling of reading strategies by the teacher, as well as the opportunity for students to practice reading skills on their own. They support student engagement with the text. They help students develop the kind of deep thinking they should be doing as they read, and they focus on a variety of skills to show students what readers do. Why are interactive read-alouds the glue to Readers and Writers Workshop? As I mentioned before, and one of the main reasons I love interactive read-alouds is that they give all students access to a shared text. They allow the teacher to model and scaffold reading skills. They are an opportunity to model management strategies and routines and procedures to support a successful workshop. They can be used as a formal and informal assessment tool, and we will discuss how to use them as an assessment tool at greater length in this course. It's an opportunity to read mentor texts that support your reading and writing workshop. Interactive read-alouds can also act as the text for partnerships or book clubs for your struggling readers, allowing them to have more in-depth conversations about literacy. So here is a video modeling an interactive read-aloud of the story Mixed by Ari Chung. It is also available as a standalone video on my YouTube channel if you would like to access it again at a later date.
Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Willis from the Literacy Party. I am going to share an interactive read-aloud with you today called Mixed, a colorful story written by Ari Chung. I am sharing this story so that you can see a standalone interactive read-aloud, but I'll also be embedding this into my interactive read-aloud professional development that will be offered through my YouTube channel very shortly. So I'm going to read this as if you're my student, so kind of pretend along with me. So Mixed, a colorful story by Ari Chung. This story is called Mixed, and I see three colors on the cover. I see red, yellow, and blue. What do you think might happen to those colors in this story? It's called Mixed. Raise your hand and share. Next, colorful story. In the beginning, there were three colors: yellows, reds, and blues. Reds were the loudest. La 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 la. other so much, they decided to mix. Together they created a new color. They named her Green. Green was bright like yellow and calm like blue, but really she was a color all her own. What makes Green so special? Raise your hand and share. What makes her so special? Everyone was fascinated. She's so cute. I've never seen anything like her before. Even the grumpy colors fell in love with Green. Can I hold her? The colors began to see new possibilities. Soon, the other colors mixed. And mixed. Look at that. We have orange, shades of purple. And mixed. And mixed. There were so many new colors and a lot of new names. Be careful, Jade. Don't forget your glasses, Lavender. Have fun, Amber. What did all the colors realize about mixing? Raise your hand and share. What did the colors realize about mixing? Take a second to think. The old neighborhoods of Redville, Bluetown, and Yellow Heights didn't make sense anymore. Everyone wanted to live together, so they rebuilt the city. Take a look. How do you think the city will be a better place now that all of the colors are living and working together? Turn and tell your partner. The new city was full of color. It wasn't perfect, but it was home. Take a look at the city. What do you think the colors learned in this story? Turn and tell your partner. I heard one of you say that it's better when they get to be together and share in their differences. I agree, absolutely. The end. And now look on the back. We have the front of the book. It went from being, just blue and yellow. What a cool choice by the author, right? And the illustrator. Both author and illustrator. So how did you guys feel about the story? How did it make you feel? Why did it make you feel that way? Turn and tell your partner. So that was an example of an interactive read aloud of the story Mixed. First off, it's a great story, and it's a really great way to get your children to engage with the story by asking questions, giving them the opportunity to talk with partners, and also kind of sharing your own thinking as well. So thanks for watching.
So you probably noticed I read the story and I paused in some spots and prompted my students to utilize reading skills to think about the text, and I also gave them a method in which I wanted them to respond, whether that was turn and talk or to raise their hand and share. Now we're going to discuss those reading skills in more detail, as well as ways for you to engage your students. So here are some of the reading skills you can model or assess during your interactive read aloud. You can monitor for sense, you can work on inferencing, envisioning, making predictions, synthesizing, determining importance, reacting to the text, summarizing, questioning, accumulating the text, critiquing, interpretation, retelling, or making connections. As a teacher, you will decide which strategies and skills are appropriate for your students, and also what skills will support your units of study. Here we have the methods of teaching, or the methods of prompting you will use for your student. We have think alouds, which is an opportunity for you to model, turn and talk, stop and jot, stop and sketch, stop and act out, stop and add on, and raise your hand and share. You can also ask your students to show you a thumbs up or down, perhaps if they're younger, or add any of your own ideas in here as well. Stopping and jotting or stopping and sketching might be used with older students, as you'll want them to do so in their reading notebooks or on a post-it page. Now that we have covered the reading strategies and methods of teaching, we can talk more about planning your interactive read aloud. We will start with a broader or overarching way to plan and then go over some of the finer details. You will want to start reading a book as a reader, so no need to jump in and plan strategies right away. You want to make sure to get the entire scope of the book before really planning the read aloud as a teacher. On your second read it like a teacher. Ask yourself, what skills or strategies the book lends itself to, and what skills and strategies would your students benefit from you modeling and for them practicing in the text. Once you have your ideas, you'll begin coding your post-its and adding them to your text. When you are thinking about the skills you want students to gain from an interactive read aloud, you have to reflect on their strengths and needs as readers. You'll want to make sure that the skills you are modeling and asking them to try are in their zone of proximal development. You will want to carefully scaffold new strategies and skills through think alouds and then find an opportunity later in the text for them to try too. Okay, so you have a pretty good idea what you'll be modeling and assessing in your text. Now, here is an easy way to code your post-its to make your read aloud run smoothly and also so you can use it again in the future. At the top, you can write your page number where you will place this post-it in your text. Then you will write the prompt, followed by the method of teaching. And down at the bottom, you'll write the specific reading skill the post-it addresses. The following 2 slides, I break down the skills from earlier in the course into what I call stems. I have teacher think aloud stems and then student response stems. The teacher modeling stems lead the teachers to think alouds, and the student response stems are for teachers to use on your post-its to prompt your students. As an example, we have retelling on this slide. You might start a think aloud with at first, then carry on with a little bit about the story, next, and finally. If you're using this as a prompt for your students to try, you will say, what happened first, next, and last? Turn and tell your partner. The language on these last 2 slides will support teachers in creating the post-its for interactive read alouds. Now that you have your read aloud all set and ready to read to your class, you can use this exercise as a way to assess your students and collect formal and informal assessment data. One of the easiest ways to assess your students during an interactive read aloud is by listening in on their turn and talks, or time when they're sharing out to the whole group. We discussed one of the methods of teaching being stopping and jotting or stopping and sketching. Students can jot on post-it notes or in their reading notebooks, and you can use their jots as a way to assess their understanding or comprehension of the texts. A great way to further your students' thinking is by asking questions in response to their jottings. On the previous slide, it mentioned collecting post-its and using post-it parking lots. You can have your students set up their reading notebooks like the page on the left with 6 post-its, or you can download this page from my Teachers Pay Teacher store. Or you can simply create your own and pass them out to your students to fill in with post-its before coming to the carpet for an interactive read aloud. While doing your interactive read aloud, you might say, on post-it number 4, stop and jot. How do you think the character is feeling? And students can respond accordingly. Also pictured in green is a post-it parking lot. I had one of these in my classroom that was a large poster board size. Each square was large enough for a post-it note. At the end of a read aloud, I might ask my students to turn in post-it number 4. They would bring up their post-it number 4 and put it on their student number spot. It is a great way to look at assessment data across your entire class. It aids in planning for small groups and conferences and can even inform your mini lessons. So now I'm sure you're wondering where to start. and how to choose a read aloud to make into an interactive read aloud. Not every book is an interactive read aloud. Some books are great just to read to enjoy, and there's so much value in that as well. I would choose books that move you, speak to you, and make your students think deeply. You can also choose books that support your units of study and support the content areas you're learning in science and social studies. Here are some of my all-time favorites. There are too many for me to list here, so it's just a small sampling. Thank you so much for tuning in to my interactive Read Aloud professional development course. Please subscribe, like, comment on this video, and share it with your colleagues. I would love to hear from you and get your feedback. Please connect with me on my Teachers Pay Teachers store and in my Instagram account at The Literacy Party. I share tons of great book recommendations and lesson ideas on my Instagram account. All of the resources used in the making of this course are available on my Teachers Pay Teachers store. I also have some pre-made interactive read alouds from some of my favorite books. I am also currently planning a few other professional development courses for you to take a look at. Stay tuned for conferring toolkits and artifacts and extensions for the interactive read aloud. Thanks for watching.